Listening, summarize spoken text, guided practice. Let's begin. The first question.
Project 87 was really just a challenge to Davidson. In 3 years, by 1987, enroll 100 black students, hire 10 black professors, create 5 black studies classes, and hire 1 black dean. Didn't seem particularly revolutionary. But what was different about it was we also challenged Davidson to say that if you don't do this, we will question your commitment to diversity. It was a real problem. We put some real numbers to it. We gave them some real consequences. Well, campus went absolutely nuts. But fortunately, in the middle of this, Davidson got a new president. And that president was single-minded about racism, too. And so he created a task force to address the issues in Project 87. And several months after that, we produced a 77-page report. That report was the foundation for all the change that came after it. Now, I wasn't there to see that change because actually in 1985, I graduated.
You can pause the video now, write the summary, and come back. Let's look at the sample response. A project was started to increase the participation of black members in the educational community. Concrete targets were set for the number of students, number of professors, number of deans, etc. Initiative got a further boost when the college got a new president who was also against racism. All this led to significant change in the later years. In my notes, what have I written? Project, black participation, educational community, target set, new president, against racism, change. So those are the words which I have in my notes. Of course, I haven't written the full words. For example, for educational community, I only wrote EDU and COM. Instead of president, I just wrote PRES. And when for black participation, I used an arrow pointing upwards, showing that the goal was to increase the participation. And that's how you take notes, right? They are like visual clues that you use to remember something. And in my mind also, I had similar pictures, college campus, increasing number of black members, professors, teaching, students, and a new president who's giving a speech against racism. So I tried to attach similar visuals to help me understand. And based upon that, then you simply explain one thing after another, starting from the beginning, that what the project was about, what targets were set, how the project got a boost, and finally the eventual result, that it led to significant change in the later years. Make sure in the end, there are no spelling mistakes or grammatical mistakes in what you have written. Now let's go to the next question.
When is seeing not believing? A couple years ago, my friend sent me this photo from Urumqi, which is the capital of Xinjiang province in northwest China. On this particular day, she couldn't believe her eyes. Checking the quality of the air outside using this app on her iPad, the numbers were telling her the air quality was good, 1 on a scale of 500. But when she looked outside, she saw something much different. Yes, those are buildings in the background. But the data were simply not telling the truth of what people were seeing and breathing. And it's because they were failing to measure PM 2.5, or fine particulate pollution. When PM 2.5 levels went off the charts in 2012, or crazy bad, as the US Embassy once described it in a tweet, Chinese netizens took to social media and they started to question why it was that they were seeing this disconnect between official air quality statistics and what they were seeing and breathing for themselves. Now, this questioning has led to an environmental awakening of sorts in China, forcing China's government to tackle its pollution problems. Now, China has the opportunity to become a global environmental leader.
Pause the video, write the sample response, and come back. All right, here's the sample response. Certain air quality measurement apps were not able to reflect the real air quality in China because they did not measure the pollution caused by fine particulate matter. Chinese citizens started protesting against the official numbers and what they were experiencing in reality. This led the government to take steps to control air pollution. So when I was listening to this, in my notes what I have written, air quality, and I just wrote that as AQ, not good, apps, not correct. And yeah, I wrote China. And when I wrote not correct, I just drew a cross, and fine particulate matter, I wrote that as short words, not measured. Protest, and then drew an arrow, government steps, control pollution. So that is what's in my notes. Just a shorthand notation, and it became so much easy to remember the key points. And in your mind, if you are using visualization, you will see similar things. That somebody is checking an app which says good results, but there's smog and bad air all around. And, then you see that fine particles, somebody pointing out that fine particles not measured. And another visual that you attach in your mind is that of citizen protest, people on road protesting, and then government announcing some steps. So almost when you try to create a picture or a story in your mind. And once you do that, I think if you do that, not just during the exam, but even after the exam, you will not forget this. You'll always remember this is something that happened in China. So this is a very good way to remember. And I'm sure if you are a student in university or anywhere, when you sit for long lectures, long talks, your mind automatically visualizes, draws pictures for you. And yeah, that is what you have to consciously use when you are doing these questions, because otherwise it becomes very difficult as there is no written text. So you must have something in your notes or in your mind in front of you based upon which you can then write a summary.